Nerd Lag Game Club.
Welcome to the Nerd Lag Game Club podcast, the podcast where we play games instead of reading books. I'm Corey, and I'm joined by three party members today: Lauren,
Hi.
Tonsa,
What's up?
and Danboy.
Hello.
In this episode of the Game Club, we're reading some love stories and playing 2021's Love Choice. Love Choice was developed and published by Akaiba Studio. From what I could find online, this is the only game that they've released so far, but they are currently working on a game called Glide Cat, whatever that is. Before we get any further into Love Choice, I want to give the spoiler warning, and I would recommend playing this before listening to this episode. This was our short game for the month of August, and I'm going to give a brief summary of the story for Love Choice. This was kind of hard to break down because it is an anthology between three separate stories that don't tie in together. But essentially the story follows a couple, usually in different stages. So one starts like as young adults, one starts as kids, and then the last one is like adults that are already married. But you make choices along the way and read and base your decisions off of what's going on to have the outcome of the story. That's probably the easiest way to explain it. Unless you guys have anything else, I think that's the best explanation.
That was good.
Each episode, we break up the main points of the game between us. So starting with gameplay and mechanics, Tunza is going to tell us about those for Love Choice.
It is I don't know, a text-based like game. For the most part, you have a couple choices to pick. There's a little mini games. There's clickable interactive like objects and like scenes, which it doesn't tell you that, so you kind of had to figure that out on your own, and that's basically it. And that all shapes and molds the story to get different outcomes. That's basically gameplay.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to the gameplay portion. You can, like you said, interact with the image above the dialogue. That sometimes it just clicking on stuff. Sometimes you got to move. Sometimes you got to like use the wheel to like zoom out, basically, or like slide the bar in the middle to unlock more of the scene. It's done in different ways, and I think it keeps it fresh, but it's basically just clicking and reading and moving. All right, next up is Lauren, and she's going to tell us about the art for Love Choice.
Okay, so had a hard time finding stuff about this one. Maybe it's just a common theme with these like much smaller games. It's just gonna happen. But the artist that are credit for it is EC. That's all it says is EC as the main artist. So that's the guy or girl, I don't know. Ling Lu and Zhao are also credited as artists. Best way to describe the art was the way Corey described it to me, which is that it kind of looks like it was drawn with crayon for a lot of it. My favorite art scenes were the ones where they show you how their life turns out, basically. It's like the super colorful, like lots of blues and purples. So each scene, the distance one does it a bunch in that one, where it's got like purples and it shows, how their lives, I guess, turned out after that. There's the scene with the side story Love Detective when you get to go through finding all the clues for the anniversary gift and dinner. There's like lights everywhere. The necklace is hanging on the wall. The tree that you watered. Yeah, the tree that you watered when looking for clues for your husband cheating on you, what you thought in the laundry room is all decorated with lights, so it's like, sparkly, I guess is a good way to say it. It's a dark room and it's lit up. It's interesting looking for sure.
Sort of reminds me of like Christmas lights.
Yeah. She even says like, "Oh, is that my Christmas tree?" Besides like actual like cutscene art, that was probably my favorite art when it came to the gameplay portion of it. It's like a lot of it's just kind of like point and click and it just shows a different picture, but this one was actually changing the whole scenery and making it all like, lights in it and giving it its little touch to the story. So that was my favorite art scene, I think.
Hey,
Well, yeah, that's all I really got for this one.
Yeah, I know this is like a harder thing to really find because this was a Korean game that was translated into English.
Hmm.
So it's hard to track down like information. I had a hard time on my end as well. So I don't know if Dan had any better luck, but he is up next and he's going to tell us about sound design and music for Lovechoice.
So there really wasn't much like sounds really. Like there's just like I don't know, great way to put it, but like the sounds playing to kind of give the game some feels, I guess.
the ambient noise, the
Yeah, that was kind of it.
your
Like
background
most of the
music.
game. Yeah. For the most part, it was just like piano playing. For the most part, like there really wasn't much. I think like the washing machine like had noises. That was about it. Like there really wasn't much sounds to the game.
There's a full song at the credits. That was me. That was
Yeah,
cool.
that song's
I
pretty
like that
good.
song.
Sounds like a anime like outro for like a slice of life anime.
I don't think I
You didn't
saw
watch the
credits.
credits?
Wow.
Wow. I did that.
No respect.
Honestly, don't think I got a credit scene.
I was gonna say, it's
Oh,
not.
yeah.
You have to get the right ending to get that credit scene.
That explains it then.
Well, Dan
Yeah,
did not get it.
It
I
just
was gonna
popped up
say-
saying the end, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, it depends on which ending you get.
For the most part, it is just background music. Sorry that these sections have been kind of short this episode. It's just hard with the translation, and it's such a short, small game. But we are now going to open up the floor and talk about anything that made an impact while we were playing Lovechoice.
I was talking about right away. I didn't get a good ending for the second story, the distance one, and then I was like, oh, I'm good. I was like, I'll hear from your guys' like what happened.
So,
Because now, once you said the mouse wheel, I was like, I never scrolled out, so that's probably why.
in Love Distance, there is not a happy ending.
Oh, there's not.
No.
No. So essentially, for the ending, there's three total endings for that story. The first one is if you just don't you don't walk over to her when you're kids and talk to her.
Okay.
So at the beginning where you're like, hey, like we're watching cartoons, come watch cartoons. And she's like, no, I'd rather listen to the radio. If you just don't do anything after that, it just ends. You're just like, okay. Like, you don't even get to know her. You can end the story two other places, but they're the same outcome. One is when she first tells you that she's leaving to go study music when you're kids before you play piano with her. And the second one is on the Ferris wheel when she tells you that she's
seen a Ferris wheel. So.
Well, at one point you meet her at a Ferris wheel after talking to her for like, is it like 4 years, Lauren? 4 or 5 years?
That is 5.
Yeah, it's somewhere around there.
You meet up. You finally move to the city where she's living. You meet up. She tells you, "Hey, I'm going to go study abroad." And you talk about this on the Ferris wheel. You can either tell her like, at that point in time, you could just tell her like, "Oh, like, good for you, like, good luck," and that ends the relationship. Or you can kind of just talk to her and be like, "Hey, like, we can still communicate like we have been." And then the last ending, which I do not like.
Same.
As more time progresses, you guys are like talking, you're growing more and more distant. She's not into the things that you're into, and vice versa. She's really focused on like becoming like a professional musician, like playing like a pianist, right?
Yeah.
And you guys like talk one night, and Stan, which is the boy, he starts like attacking her. If you like click around the room, he's like, well, what about your family? Or like, what about us? Or like, he's just like starts throwing these like low blows at her. And then she eventually moves back to wherever this takes place, which I'm assuming is based in Korea. And you guys end up being together. But then that ending cutscene is she like wakes up in the middle of the night and like plays piano because she's miserable and she hates her life.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is not a good ending, and he's abusive in the aspect of like he manipulated her. He made her feel bad to come
Yeah.
back and be miserable.
Well, yeah, because she, right before then, she tells him, she's like, hey, like, I just don't think I'm gonna come back. Like, I wanna pursue my dreams. Like, it's here, all this stuff. And then that's when he starts, like, well, what about your family? Like, what about our promise to do the Ferris wheel again and all this stuff? And then she finally, like, starts crying, is like, you know what? You're right. Like, I'm just gonna come back after I graduate.
And then you end up together, but she resents you.
Yeah, pretty much.
So that one has no good ending. Like the
Yeah, I don't. I'm about to say the one I think I got was just like she went on did her own thing.
yeah, I mean,
Like, and you guys never seen each other or spoke to each other again.
yeah, I think that ending tells you like she was successful, you were successful. You guys
Yeah.
like talk
After
on like
life.
Twitter or something every once in a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't think anything like overall in that one is that happy. Like it's good for them that they were successful, but like their love didn't like last. And then the other one's like she doesn't get to do what she's passionate about, but they're together but not happy.
Yeah.
So just kind of a weird, a really strange one. I love that we jumped to the second story.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess mine's the first one. I went through like almost all the ending, like everything. Like, because you had to do it. You had to do it perfect, right? You had to do it like you had to get that good ending to even move on.
Well, you had to
Yeah, I
get,
did
Because the
two
first time,
separate ones.
yeah, because the first time I think I got it like she breaks up with you,
Same.
and then the
Yeah, I
next
got
time
that
I
one
did it,
like 10 times in a row. I
Well,
was thinking about
actually, I
just
know I grabbed it
quitting the game after that.
because like I didn't understand. I didn't know how to click on objects at that point
Yeah, I picked
because they were
every
like,
single option, and I was like, okay, nothing's
yeah,
changing. I
that
hate
was
this game.
so it was 3 times. So I did the first time she broke up with me. I went through and changed every option to the other one, broke up with me, and then the next time it's like everything's in red. Then it was like I really think like not talking would be the best mood. And I was like, there's not an option not to fucking talk there. And then like I clicked on it and it was like, oh okay. And then I had to go back to just interactive stuff.
yeah, that's the first story, which is just called Love Game, and they're like young adults.
Yeah.
Teenagers. I couldn't really figure it out because they're at a thing
Well, from
called
the
Game
credits, I
Fest.
thought this was like that one's like a true story. Like if you watch the credits, they like talk like they like credit.
Yeah, yeah. They literally say like something about like thank you for like choosing to make a game about our story and
Yeah.
how much you mean to me or something like that.
Yeah. But it was cool. I mean, that was good. Besides like not knowing the click stuff, because I originally just thought this game was just like choices matter.
Yeah.
Which it's more like interactive in the picture is what matters. The
Well,
dialogue isn't as much.
Yes, as far as I know, I don't think the dialogue really changed much. Like she always responded the same way.
Yeah.
Until you got the right one. Like after you look at her Twitter and you end up getting the
Oh,
option.
yeah, like the Sherlock Holmes or Cat Holmes or whatever.
Yeah, then she's like, "Oh, like how did you know that I wanted to watch this movie?"
They get like the hot pot one. She's like, "How'd you know?" And I was like, "I also want hot pot right now."
Yeah, but that part's pretty cool because you have to like go on her Twitter feed and kind of use context clues.
Go simp like every single one of her posts
Yeah.
from all the way back.
I full-fledged turned into Dan on that one.
Did you?
Yeah, because you had to like all of her tweets to get one of the achievements.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, it's weird. Didn't it? Like, hey, we want to hang out, and then go back and just like every single one of their things.
Do you, Lauren? Do you want to like talk kind of like a brief summary of how that story goes
For
Love
first
Game?
one?
Yeah,
For Love
just
Game?
like how like each section, like you start by meeting her at the Game Fest.
Right. You started meeting her at
Game
was
Jam.
it Game Jam? They're working in teams trying to figure out a game with a certain theme. You notice her sitting by herself. You kind of go up to her, talk to her. The best option is obviously to talk about the game theme itself. But then after that, you kind of like keep in touch via like WeChat, and you
Yeah.
go through the Twitter feed like they were talking about. That's how you get context clues on like, because the story is like you're the guy and you want to ask her out. You find out like her perfect thing, like she really wants to see that movie. She really likes hot pot. So she starts talking to you about her day at work, and you kind of just give her a little bit of advice and ask her out. You guys go and see her favorite movie. You go and get food. Then you start having these back and forths of talking on the phone and just talking like deeper about certain things, about games, about, animals and music and all those things. And then as the story progresses, you start thinking about like the little flaws you see in each other. And if you go through with all of that, it's pretty much, if you get everything right. I don't want to like say the whole story, but there's trash everywhere and she's just not cleaning it up. And you kind of lead it to where she does clean it up and you guys get along, and that's the good ending, is that, you guys get along and you're soulmates, and she writes an anniversary letter to you. And then bad ending, she leaves you.
Yeah, she leaves your ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there's like the 3 different endings for that one.
Yeah. Yeah, there is.
Which what the other ones? She's just like, oh, like you make me happy or whatever. She's like, on to the next 3 years or whatever. It's like something like pretty basic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like, oh, like happy like 3-year like anniversary. That's kind of it.
Yeah.
The part where you're talking about hobbies and stuff, Tonsa, this is where you had to use the scroll out on your mouse
Mm-hmm.
because it shows you that there's like thought bubbles, and you can click on the thought bubbles and they'll go deeper into conversation about whatever they're talking about.
Yep.
Yeah, it gives you that hint like whenever it first goes into that spot, because it's like it says something along the lines of like, oh, like we have to like zoom out and like really like learn each other.
Yeah, I guess I just didn't read that like that way.
I didn't. Yeah, that's the one of the ones I had to look up to get the last achievement, because I was like, what does that even mean?
Yeah,
I'm
same.
just a smarty pants.
You're not that smart.
Oh, there's
Clearly.
also the scene where when they get on their date or whatever, they go out and they're walking and there's all the stars and stuff. That's when
Yeah.
you hold her hand. That one's pretty good
Or
too.
tell her, "Can I hold your hand?" Or "It's beautiful," and it always anything you said ruins the moment.
I like that my first time through, it's just the first option is I like you. As awkward as possible, and that's the one I picked.
Yeah, I picked "Can I hold your hand?" or something, because I was like, that's weird.
I picked the moon is beautiful or whatever.
I think I picked.
See, I picked the moon one, but I also thought the like hold your hand thing. I thought that was like discreetly like saying to do that thing. That's why I was really confused. I picked that one and it's like, yeah, the words ruin the moment. And it's like, I didn't say anything. What do you mean?
Yeah.
It's because you stopped and you said, hey, can I hold your hand?
Instead of just doing it.
They also
Man.
they also get in a fight which I like that one. If you
Yeah.
just don't
You just
respond,
got yeah.
you stop arguing and you hug it out.
Make it out.
Or you can just keep responding and get into a huge fight where the text bubbles get bigger and bigger.
And
Yeah, and you're
there's
just
more
like,
of them.
it's like, what's going on? Why can't I do anything here besides swear words?
Yeah, I don't want to yell at her.
Yeah.
Um,
What are we even fighting about? There's no context in these text bubbles.
yeah, that's pretty sad when you don't actually know, and it's just like the relationship's just falling apart, and you're like, I don't know what I need to do.
I took you to your favorite place. Why don't you break up with me?
I love that she's just like, all right, I have a suitcase, I'm gone.
Yeah. Out. Adios.
We touched base with Love Distance, which is the second one. Who wants to talk about Love Detective? Lauren mentioned it briefly, but who wants to talk about that one?
I'm not going to talk about it since I just talked about the last one, but I do want to say I want to talk about the ending when we get to that point. Just ask if anybody else picked the same thing as me.
So, Dan, do you want to talk about Love Detective?
Oh man, sure, I guess. So starts off with you doing like, I don't know, Bejeweled, Candy
Yeah.
Crush, like one of
Yeah.
those type of games.
It's just
where you
with,
I think
like,
it
kinda,
mentions
match the
Bejeweled
things.
in the game.
It's just
Like a
with
Titan
people's
3.
faces.
Yeah, it's super weird. And then the phone starts ringing. I don't know if you can answer the phone. I just didn't press anything, and it was like, oh, call ended, and I was like, oh, was I supposed to like do something there? But and then you're like Lauren said, you think your husband is like cheating on you, and so you start like looking around like your apartment or house. I think it's more of an apartment.
It's more
Seems
of
like
an
it'd be more of an
apartment,
apartment.
yeah.
So you start looking around trying to find like some clues as to if he's like cheating on you or whatever. And then you start finding like really random things. Like you find like a random key, you find this little cardboard piece on the table that has like symbols and like numbers on it.
Oh, yeah, it's like a lockbox thing.
Yeah, it's like you need
Yeah,
a
yeah.
combination to open it.
Yeah, yeah. And so you start like looking around, you go into like there's the 3 different rooms. There's the main living room, there's your bedroom, and then there's the laundry room. There is a bathroom, but I never opened it. I don't know if you can open
It
it.
doesn't let you in there.
Okay, I wasn't sure because okay,
I'm sure
anyways,
it says come back later.
you find like the combination to the box by just, snooping around. And it's basically he's making a anniversary like gift for you. Like you open it up and then in the very middle it's like, "Oh, put the present here." And yeah. So, once you find everything, you kind of put everything back to where they were and kind of set everything up to make it look like you don't know about it. And later that night, he has the whole apartment all set up, kind of in like a scavenger hunt kind of thing. You like he has like lines all through the apartment. You get all the combinations for the lockbox again, kind of in the same exact spots as they were. And in the laundry room, there's a pendant that's hanging on the wall. And you kind of grab that. It says like there's like an engraving on it, but you can't read it. And you put it into the lockbox and you turn it on and it shines a light onto the wall using the pendant. And it's like, I don't know if it says I love you or like anniversary, but it has like a heart in it.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah, is that what it says? Okay, yeah, that sounds
Mhm.
about right. And yeah, that's kind of it. And then
You
yeah, he
dinner.
comes home and you guys celebrate.
Yeah, you have dinner together.
Yeah.
I do want to mention that one of the achievements is to pick up the dirty laundry and put it in the washer machine.
Yeah.
And
I got
then
that.
like taking the clean clothes and putting them in the closet. It's like doing all like the
Yeah, I
house
didn't do that
chores
part.
or whatever is one of the achievements, which is super weird. before you get the pendant and then you light up that room, you find that pen. It's like a magic pen or whatever. I don't know what that technology is. I don't know how it triggers all the light show to turn on, but
It's
Pretty sure you just connect. It's like a pen for reading like current. Could you just connect and shit?
yeah, because you just
yeah.
go
They
like
said like what it was. It was like silver something pen or something.
you just like draw from point A to point B, and then like all the lights turn on, like in the laundry room that like they're all fancy Christmas lights and shit.
Yeah, I think you were just technically reconnecting the current for the bathroom lights. I don't know how well that would work, like drawing, but I mean, if you made something, probably.
It's pretty
So
cool.
by doing a quick little Google search, it would be a conductive silver ink pen.
Oh, scientist
That makes
For
Dan.
sense.
creating circuits and switches easy.
Wow.
Scientist
crazy.
Dan over here.
Yeah, scientist.
The lockbox is actually really cool. Dan kind of just like went over it, but after you unlock it, it opens up and then he puts in like a bunch of pictures from your relationship, and then you push the middle. Is it a square?
Yeah.
I thought you pulled it out.
Yeah, you like took it out.
And then that opens up and there's more photos from your guys' like relationship up to that point. And then that's when at the bottom it says like put your gift here or whatever.
Yep.
That box is cool.
It was super cool.
I wish I could make one of those, but I don't even know how to do that.
Fucking do it, man.
Yeah, just do it. Just do it.
Do it.
Just do it.
I'm sure you can figure it out.
But what Lauren wants to know everyone's ending.
So I'll explain what I mean by that.
Okay, yeah.
So when you get the scene where you're doing like dinner and stuff, I don't think it's every ending. So if you didn't get this option, that's okay. It asks you what the characters' names are, or like what her name is. So what name did you pick for her? Grace. Okay, so then you got the same thing that I did, which is that they give you
20%.
they give you like a thank you for giving Stan and Grace the happy ending that they deserve or whatever from the other story, from the distance one.
Yeah, it didn't ask me anything about putting in any.
Yeah, see, I didn't get that. Like, well, I mean, the other part, because I was like, I don't know what. I didn't play the other one twice. Like,
Okay.
oh, I'll figure out. Like, give us something to talk about if I didn't know that one.
Yeah, so they tie in that if you pick that one, is that it's the people from the distance one.
Well, I think you can pick the first girl too.
Yeah, I would assume because
Or
it's the
custom
same
name.
Yeah, it's the same name as the first one, so I would assume that if you pick that one, it's kind of like giving them their story. But
and then I put custom name.
Yeah, Corey put custom name.
And it
what the hell did I do that was different?
What?
I think that was for going back through and turning the phone off.
Yeah, I think it was a certain ending. It was like you don't go and investigate, you just straight up just shut the phone off when it rings.
Yeah, there's like a power button on the side, and if you just click it at the beginning, it just turns it off, and then you go right to the dinner.
Yep.
Oh.
And that's what triggers the...
Okay, so at the end of mine, like, the phone starts ringing again, and it's like the Emily girl again calling, and then, like, it doesn't even give you, like, the option to, like, answer, like, decline or anything like that. Like, if you try, it's like, oh, like, there might be an easier way to go about this or something like that, and then you just turn it off, and then
Yep.
That's why I was, like, super confused. But was there not anything to do with the bathroom? Because on the, like, whenever you're kind of going through the scavenger hunt, if you click on the bathroom, it's like, oh, I'm not gonna let him know I know what's in here. And I was like, what? How do I know that there's something in there? I never went in.
It never like capitalized that. So
it never opens either. You can never get into it.
Yeah, I tried to. There's no achievements for it. There's no nothing. I don't know if it was like just a bad translation, maybe, and it was
Okay, maybe
supposed to
that makes
say
sense.
something else.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's possible then.
it's super weird because it's just there. It's like nope, can't
Yeah.
go in there. What is your guys' time to completion for this? I finished it in 115 minutes, and I beat Lauren by like 3 minutes.
Yeah, I was so upset. Mine was 118 minutes, and Corey's pops up like 115 minutes. I was like, dang it!
51.
Because that's
71.
tons of speedrunner this episode.
Well, I didn't do that. Like I said, I didn't do that second story twice. Like, I just did it the one time, got that, and I was like, oh, it'll be something to talk about.
Did you struggle playing the piano?
Yes.
I hated that part.
I didn't
I
get to that part.
struggled.
I couldn't figure out like at what time I'm supposed to press it. Like it doesn't really like tell you at all.
If you
And
fail,
I didn't know like I was like starting it. Like I didn't know I had to press like the first button, so I like sat there for a good like minute or two, like waiting for it to start playing, and then I was like, there's nothing happening.
if you fail enough times at it, it'll eventually have this white square that goes around the picture, and it will light up like a dark white when you're supposed to hit it. And that's the only way I got through it because I have zero sound for music.
Yeah, I wouldn't have did good anyways.
But that was like the most frustrating thing about this game. Everything else was fine. That was like a mini game. There was like a mini game in the first one where you have to collect like restaurant reviews.
Very easy.
And there's like
I did like the idea if you went through it, you got to just go with how many you had the first time.
Yeah, so once you get
collected all 11 the first time, so
yeah, you get all of them, and then you don't have to redo the minigame.
Yeah, you could just say skip.
In the second one, I did get stuck a little bit at the part where you and the girl are walking like by the two stores. And, like the one has like the sausages, the other one has like the little piano thing.
Were you supposed to do something
for a good
there?
like 15 minutes?
I just
so
went.
I was like,
I just
okay,
went.
whatever.
This is why I think I got the bad
So you're supposed
I got a different ending because I just left. I was like, I've done this. We walked through this scenario because I keep waiting and it just keeps repeating. And I'm like, okay, we're just gonna end it, and then it just ends, and then they tell you like she went off to do this. You did this.
So
dude, I got so like frustrated. I was sitting here. I was like, "Don't go for the fucking sausage! Like, just keep walking, man. What are you doing?
To save all your money and buy like the
sausage.
piano." I was like, I don't know what's going on.
So to solve that problem, the cursor wants you to move to the sausage. Like it will automatically start moving that direction. You just click on the toy piano.
Like immediately?
Just keep your cursor on it and just keep clicking on it. And you'll eventually walk by the sausage stand. Well, you don't have to click on it the whole time, but that's how I did it, so I would pay attention. And so once you do it 3 times, you have enough money to buy the toy piano.
Yeah.
And then
I figured. And then it just was like, I was like, I'm not getting this right. You keep buying this. And I was like, I'm done. And I just...
The one time I bought the sausage before I even like walked by. And then I walked by again with the sausage, and I was like, oh, okay.
You already had it.
Tonsa, we know you just love the sausage stand. That's really what it was.
That's why, I couldn't pass it up.
All right. Anything else about Love Choice you want to talk about, or can we move into recommendation?
Move on.
Moving on?
Yeah.
All right. Each episode, we go around and we find out if we would recommend the game we're playing and why or why not. So starting with Dan this episode, would you recommend this game and why or why not?
I think this is the first time I've ever been first. Oh my gosh. I would recommend it. It's only $2. Like most of us finished under 2 hours. So it's like it doesn't take long to play through. The stories are good in it, like the dialogue, it's fine. There's some like deeper meaning in some of the dialogue. I thought it was good.
Lauren?
Yeah, I liked it. It was cheap. It was change of pace, I guess. and I was able to get all the achievements in under 2 hours, so worth it.
A nice, easy platinum.
Mm-hmm.
That's not called a platinum on
Yeah,
Steam.
I know,
just
but
gonna say that. I was like, it's not a platinum. Platinums are different.
What about you, Tonsa? Would you recommend this game?
Yeah. I think it has a good price point for what it is. It's got well, two cute stories, I guess. That second one sounds pretty depressing.
Only sad.
I skipped apparently I skipped the my part was not good, not bad. You're just she moved on. But yeah, I think it was fine. I think it was good. It was different from what I was expecting. I was expecting more of a choice matters thing, and it was almost weird puzzle type game.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It was more puzzle like than I thought. Because going into this, I thought it was more of a dating sim.
Yeah, it's not that.
Where it's more like, let me tell you a story and you interact and figure out the puzzle for each section of the story.
Yeah.
I would also recommend it. I enjoyed it. It's short. I got all the achievements. And I like the art style. I think it looks cute. And give it a chance. One little session of playing it, you'll be able to finish it. And then once you get all the achievements like me and Lauren did, we have no reason to ever play that again.
True.
So the $2 price point was definitely worthwhile.
Yeah.
I would have been upset if that was like a $30 game.
That was such a
I would have
cheap.
been too for 51.
It's such a cheap entertainment for 2 hours. $2? That's a good price for 2 hours of entertainment, I think.
And I'll say it's better than what I didn't know what I was expecting going in, but it was definitely better than I expected.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Towards the end of each episode, we dive into the review page of Steam and read some reviews for the game we're playing in that episode. In a segment that we call Good, Bad, and Funny. For every game, we dive in and we get one good review, one bad review, and one review that we find funny. And then we just read a bunch after that until we get tired of doing so. Does anyone have any reviews?
Me.
All right, Lauren.
Sorry, there's 2 of them I'm looking at right this second, and they made me
This is
laugh.
the first 2?
Probably. This one says, "This is the Dark Souls of dating sim games." I thought that was kind of funny because you do have to figure it out and click on that stuff or you lose every time.
What are you getting broken up with?
Yeah, and this other one says, "Got dumped in the first 5 minutes. 10 out of 10 for realism." Those made me laugh.
I've seen a positive one that just says, "I've come to the conclusion that women are a myth." Whatever that means.
Yeah, the one below it, positive review. I don't get to be gay, sad face. I don't know if that's good, bad.
There is a negative one. 0.3 hours on record says, "Most shallow and low effort interactive fiction I've read. Not even worth that doesn't even make sense. Not even worth as a coffee game, nor the low price."
I don't think they realize you can click on stuff.
Probably not.
I think so.
I think that was a big thing because at first I was like, "What is this game?" I got a bad ending. Finally get the good one. It's and then if you didn't click on anything else the other times, you wouldn't have you just wouldn't know.
And then there's a positive review, 2.7 hours on record. Only cried 3 times with a bunch of flexing arm emotes or emojis. And then there's another negative that just says, "Just play the first story." That's all it says.
I mean, that first story
this one is kind of good. I like it. If you are single like me and wondering why am I not getting a girlfriend, play this game, and if you get the bad ending twice, then you'll understand why. You will never get a girlfriend with that mentality.
Love it.
I love that one. Was that a positive review?
Yeah, it was 7.2 hours.
Holy shit! How?
They love that game.
They struggled really, really hard.
Yeah, maybe.
They just went through the first story like 150 times. Like, what am I supposed to do?
This is what love feels like.
But yeah, I'm good on reviews. You guys good on reviews?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, great. I had a lot of fun today talking about Love Choice on NLGC. But before we go, we wanted to share where you can find us online.
First, we have a YouTube channel called Nerdlag where we'll be uploading some great content. So make sure to subscribe for the latest videos. We have a Facebook page at Nerdlag Game Club. Make sure to like the page so you can get the latest news about the podcast. You can also find us over on Twitter at Nerdlag, where we share some of the latest gaming news and stuff we find interesting. And lastly, we have a Discord at Nerdlag where you can talk to us in voice chat and join in some discussion about everything nerdy like video games, anime, movies, and chat with like-minded people. If you would like to join, ask for an invite. We also want to thank everyone that tuned in for this episode. And if you enjoyed it, make sure you share it with your friends. And also follow us on Spotify. It really helps.
On to the final credits. At the end of each episode, we go around and just talk about anything we've been playing, any gaming news that jumps out at us, or just talk about life in general. Is there anything you guys want to talk about to close out the episode?
No.
I'm trying to think of. We still haven't played Raft Update.
Oh, no.
I've been hooked to World of Warcraft. Dan's playing Pokemon
They're,
in
they're,
Minecraft.
they're never playing Raft.
No, it's going to be
Right
another
now.
month, and then
We're
they're going to
gonna play it again. We're gonna play it.
No, you're not.
We finished the forest. We'll finish Raft.
No, you won't.
3 years from now.
When they have to restart.
Yep. I guess the big news for us is like Hogwarts Legacy got delayed a couple months, and people are pissed off about it.
It's fun.
Yeah, they are.
I'm fine with it. It's not really even that big of a delay. It's only like 3 months, so it is what it is.
I don't mind.
It's too ambitious to not expect a delay. I mean, it's already been delayed once, but like, I want it to be as big as they promised, and if they can't deliver, I'd rather just have them hold off.
Same.
The crazy thing is, like, I've seen so many people on Twitter that are like, oh, Hogwarts Legacy gets delayed. 2022 is the worst year for gaming ever. I'm like, no, you are so dramatic.
They must only be looking forward to that game. Because, like, there was a bunch of delays. I was just telling you that there was that tweet that was like, hey, this tweet aged poorly. And it was talking about all the games. They're like, I can't believe these are coming out in 2022, and none of them are coming out.
But it's like,
just look forward to other games. There's a bunch of small indie games or smaller like teams like that aren't AAA.
but there's also been big titles. Like Kirby came out this year. We're getting a Pokemon game soon. Like, those are big Nintendo titles. Like, there's been things that have came out. So, like, expand your horizon. Is all I can say to that.
Are you just a Harry Potter fan and this game sold you to get into like video games? Or I don't know.
We also just got Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which people are talking about Game of the Year for. So
weird.
It's gonna be a weird group of games this year for Game of the Year.
Well, it's gonna be definitely weird ones because your big hitters that were supposed to come out or no longer coming out. I think God of War will probably that didn't. That's still soon.
Yeah, I don't think that one's still for the holiday season. But
that will probably end up squeaking out like Game of the Year.
Well, you had Elden Ring to start off.
Maybe not. Horizon's not going to be like. I think people already forgot about that game.
Yeah, that one's not going to be like Game of the Year, but you have Elden Ring at the beginning of the year. Like I said, Xenoblade, people are talking about Game of the Year for. If God of War is as good as the first God of War, it'll probably...
Yeah, if it's as good as the first game, like, I love that.
Legends Arceus.
For Game of the Year?
That did come out this year.
Yeah.
You think it would stack up?
They ain't gonna give it to a Nintendo title. Let's be real.
Unless it's Zelda.
Unless it's
Yeah.
Zelda, that's it.
Well, if there's nothing else, I mean, I don't know. I think Nintendo will get its its limelight soon.
Yeah, next year when Breath of the Wild 2 comes out.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
yeah, that was the biggest gaming news. Still playing Nino Kuni, and that's about it.
I got into the East Online beta for mobile.
Did you play it?
Have you played it yet?
I played a little bit of it when I was at work, and it looks really good. And it's interesting because you're playing through the sixth game, um, as like one of Adol's like companions. Like you're working with him to go through it, which is
Yeah.
interesting. There's a lot of fans that like if that's their game, like that's their diehard, like their favorite game, they don't like the concept at all. They're already like, I don't like it. This is like, making my favorite game look bad. They're not a fan of it, but for somebody that just likes the series as a whole, I think it's pretty good so far.
Yeah, there's that Tower of Fantasy that just came out.
Mhm.
That's like a Genshin type game, and people are like, "Which one's better?" and all this shit, and it's like, can't just people like something? Like, what do you gotta
Yeah.
fight about it?
Yeah, why you gotta compare?
Oh, I also played the demo for Diofield Chronicles. That came out 2 days ago. And
Yeah,
that game is going to be a sleeper hit for sure.
the game's also on Steam, by the way, Cord.
Yeah, I figured as much. Steam.
Well, because you were like, "Oh,
Well, I didn't
I
know
don't
if the
know if you're
demo
gonna play
was
it on
on
the
there.
Switch." Yeah, but the demo's on there. It's coming out this week.
So there's a
Coming
demo
out.
currently for PS5, Switch, and you said Steam.
Yeah.
It's the first chapter of the game. Anything you do in that first chapter, you can save, and when you buy the game later, you just continue from there, which is nice. But it gives you like a 3-hour demo essentially. That first chapter is pretty long. Super fun game. It's like a RTS sorta mixed with like some like top down like Diablo looking dungeons. Each mission you kind of go into, it looks really good. There's a lot of character customization in the aspect of like there's like a massive skill tree, and you can like as you collect items, you can form weapons, you can buy weapons, and you build like relationships between characters. You can actually stack them together, so you have two characters that. So even though you can only bring 4 characters into a mission, you can actually stack them so that you can use a secondary character's like abilities, which is pretty cool. So you can have a total of 8 characters in any given mission, technically. Um, and then I think if you level up your rank, you can actually swap them out. But I wasn't that high of a rank for my like mercenary group or whatever it's called, so I didn't get to mess with that at all. But I'm really excited for it. It looks good. I played through that demo in one night, and I'm excited to see how that goes. Like I said, I think it's gonna be a sleeper hit. So September 22nd. Make sure you play the demo beforehand. See if you want to get into it or play it at all. It may not be something for everyone, but I enjoyed it.
Downloading it right now.
But that's it for me. Anything else for you guys?
I don't know. Has Dan said anything? What are you doing, Dan?
Nothing.
Pixel
I
Mom.
don't have anything, man.
You just addicted to Pixel Mode.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna end the episode then.
Yeah.
All right. I had fun having this little extra time at the end of this episode, but I think it's time for us to install the next game and get ready for the next episode. So thank you for listening, and we will see you guys in the next one.
Bye.
Later.
See ya.